That's alright. I'll resubscribe to...
There we are.
You got internet?
Yep, we're back.
Alright, cool.
We're back for the next part of this chapter. Orion and Peter arrived first near the ledge of the cliffside. The many lights and towns of sky down below. It was closer to 10 over here as the time zones were different. Alex stood ahead of them. Kresh stood opposite her, his back to them as they all began to appear, one by one through the portal that Orion had created. He heard a popping sound as the shimmering connection to a school's training facility zipped out of existence. "You're too late," Alex remarked. A manic glimmer played in her eyes. A sadistic smile played with her mouth. "Release Grace to me. Take what you need of the serum, and that will be that," Damien said. His eyes stormed as his gaze flitted to a clock, and then to glass vials that were on the ground near Alex. The clock's face showed a smaller, shrunken-down version of Mom. Ryan stared at it and felt fear grip his stomach. How did she cast that magic within moments? It felt like fleeting moments. How convenient. I should have done this sooner, Alex growled, her face a mask of contempt as she smirked at Damien. "What do you need the serum for? Why are you willing to harm the innocent over this? It's considered a massive dishonor," Kresh remarked. His scowl flexed into contempt, and his eyes darkened considerably. "It's not about honor. It's not about harming the innocent. It's about power. Power and control, Wolfric. Two things you very much understand and respect, am I right?" Alex's hungry, sadistic glimmer matched her lowered tone of voice. "I respect both, and I respect leaving the innocent out of harm's way. The life of the vampire is a treacherous one, but it's also an honorable one. Two things Faye seem to discard in favor of delicious cadence, regardless of those it harms." Kresh turned, and Orion could see his eyes glimmer with gold. "Unusual words coming from the son of the devil," Alex said. "Your pretense miscalculates the situation entirely. You don't understand what is at stake. A war is brewing. We're two great leaders on different sides. A rise and a fall, the swing of power, and innocence cemented in between it all." Kresh's voice was even. "Is that what this is about? You want to keep a high ground in a war? I'm your opponent, and you've kept me at a distance, dear Wolfric. The king isn't who you look towards when you play a game of life and death. It's the queen that must be on your radar. The queen checkmates everyone." Alex fingered the clock. Two fingers on her left hand twitched, and blue and green energy swirls spun into the air outside of the vials. "You're right, it is the queen," Kresh stated flatly. "However, you are the only queen you were looking at. And there are, what, 3 queens of Skya?" "Two, just 2. Me and Michaela, and our time is running short." She grabbed the clock and spun a dial in the end. Grace ran to the other side in the small space. The face of the clock showed purple and blue energy sparking in the closer proximity. Ryan had a terrible feeling that Alex had done something to the serum, the souls within. "Let's see how powerful the serum truly is, shall we? We stand on this hillside just above Michaela's part of this island. I'll release a vial and give it a spike, and we'll see just how much of her world burns." Alex's eyes glinted. "Wait, what do you mean? What happens when you spike some of it?" Sam asks. "Don't do it. You don't know what you're doing," Kresh warned her. "Grandma, please don't. Don't do whatever it is you're thinking about doing," Sam pleaded. The ominous look of dread on Kresh's face even gave Orion bad vibes. "What's going on?" Rima asked. She'd been watching everything happening and hadn't said a word. "Move, Irima. Stay back." Peter grabbed Irima's arm and began trying to drag her backwards. "Alex," Damien warned, but Alex waved a finger. Boom. Alex spoke the word just as a massive blast knocked them all back, and the blue and green swirl of doom sparked and shimmered in the air, and began twisting and turning like a hurricane, high, at least 100 feet in the sky. "Mom," Ryan whispered, and everyone floated in super slow speed as he moved in regular speed. It was like before, when the whole world froze in freeze frame, and he felt himself bend reality, only it was using his power to walk between worlds. "Dreamwalker, save your mom and mother first. I'll grab your friends." Damien spoke softly next to him. "What about Kresh?" Ryan asked. "He'll survive. He's a king and a vampire, remember? Let him rely on his wits to survive." Damien had a cold glimmer in his eye and tug at the edge of his mouth. Ryan didn't need to be told twice. Granted, Peter's uncle is probably needed elsewhere. His friends came first. Vampire could wait. Other vampires were more important. He had to move very fast as he didn't know just how much control he held over this moment. He saw Alex looking triumphantly at Kresh, who was eyeing the serum, and his hand was reaching for his nephew, like he was pulled 2 completely different directions. Ryan snuck next to Alex and yanked the clock from her grasp. Her eyes stayed frozen on Kresh. He then, with the other hand, grabbed Peter and Varina and saw that Sam was falling off the cliffside alongside Valis. He moved the clock in a circular motion in an attempt to make a pun. It was just like clockwork. Ha. A faded blue circle appeared in front of Sam, and Damien kicked her in the ass, and her body disappeared into it. Damien winked at Orion and saluted him, then snaked into thin air and grabbed Violet, dragging him as if he were grabbed a plush doll. Ryan jumped through another portal designed for himself, and all three of them passed through. Sounds of explosions crescendoed up above. They'd landed in Times Square of the town below them. Ryan landed on his feet, which seemed to be the common occurrence when you actually have control of your own reality. Raymond landed on top of Peter, straddling him, and from Ryan's view, it was rather intimate. Both of them were staring at each other's eyes, and Peter was brushing Graham's hair. Hi, both of them echoed each other. Ryan cleared his throat. People might be dying. Kiss later. Both of them scrambled to their feet. We weren't going to kiss, Peter grumbled. I don't know what you're talking about, Graham growled, and her face crossed many shades of red, probably more crimson than her hair. Maybe. Doesn't matter right now. Ryan looked at the clock, and Mom was pounding on the face of it. Her mouth screaming words, and all Ryan could hear was, We'll get your mom out of there, Peter said. Just then the building behind them exploded, sending them flying again this time. Ryan didn't catch himself, and he felt the earth leave his feet, and the world had flipped around him in a semicircle, the clock ripping from his hands and skidding across the floor towards the flames. Bodies were spraying in hordes out of the buildings as they blew up, one by one, as blue and green energy blasted throughout the air. His ears were ringing. His body felt like he had been compacted multiple times by a giant hammer, and his vision spun in different directions all at once. He couldn't see Peter and Environment now, nor the clock. All he saw was destruction and carnage. Blood was everywhere. Separated limbs, skulls were bashed in. The child was screaming for his mother and impaled through the chest, blood spraying from his mouth as he cried. His mouth was contorted, and Orion barely heard the shrieking. Then a giant slab of stone smashed down through the air and crushed his torso. Probably his brain and cries were silenced. Ryan could barely hear the screams, and he could see his mouth moving, but Ryan was hoping this was a hallucination caused by the blast. The mother, or a lady, had come crawling. Both her legs were wrecked, sinewy tissue ripped from her knees. Her arms were pulling for her torso along the ground, and she stopped moving when she got to where the child was. She was pale-faced, and Ryan saw her mouth move. My baby, and then she went still. Ryan sat there motionless in shock, his ears still ringing. He wanted to use that power again. It's too late, young one, Damien remarked. He walked up to Orion, who was still frozen in shock. Why can't I've been time. What have I been doing? Ryan stammered. His mind felt utterly frozen, like the dials in his brain were broken or needed oil. Dream walking is walking between realities. It isn't time. Time suggests a linear construct. Learn later. Save friends now. Damien pulled up Orion, and both the demon and Dreamwalker walked in silence amidst the explosion still happening. War is hell. This is Alex's doing. Only the savage and powerful win. Everyone else dies. The innocent are destroyed. Damien stated like he was talking again about the weather. Peter and Varima were riding from another blast, and Peter had created an energy field around the both of them. Sam floated near them. We need to save them. We need to... Orion stammered. Orion! Peter yelled. He and Sam stood back to back, leaving the field he'd created, and Varima moved a hand, keeping it with her. They both began moving building pieces, and Ryan tried to help, but his brain was having trouble keeping up with reality. He saw both cousins back to back, trying to save people that were now running in the square, and some of them were hit with scattered shrapnel, and Ryan watched in second horror as different bodies were ripped to pieces, torsos shredded, limbs disembodied, and guts spread, showering the place with more bloodshed. He could see heads getting smashed, and fields of energy rippling in the air. We need, Orion started again, to get you out of here. No one will survive this. It's too strong. Alex has burned this part of the kingdom as she said she would. Damon replied, and he grabbed Orion by the arm. What? Orion felt himself be sucked into a vacuum outside of their current reality, and he felt Sam and Peter collide right into him. Damien snapped his fingers, and Varima appeared, and she almost tripped over herself. They stood on a lower mountain terrain. We can stop it. If Peter and I join forces, Sam began. They're already dead, dear child, all of them. Villages, this sector of sky is doomed. It's all burned. Damien calmly told her. I'm afraid the Demon Lord is correct, my dear girl, Beazel simpered, who'd seemed to just pop into existence right next to Peter. He read Peter's face, checking on his grandson. Ryan felt his mind spinning still. His hearing had come back, ringing, still echoing, causing their voices to distort, but they faded back into normalcy every other word. They're all dead. They're all dead. Women and children, families, Ryan sputtered. He'd fallen to his knees as he looked at the burning city below him. He clutched the sides of his head. I'll stop the hellish tornado and speak with Alex about this whole charade. She tends to listen better to the devil. After all, it's all souls and power to it anyway. My speciality, Beelzebub spoke softly. What's the point of being a dreamwalker? Being a guy who has power. You guys are way better. Fucking monarchs. No, monarch wannabes. And you're the bloody devil, as you just said. All this death, all this destruction, massive bloodshed. Children are dead. Mothers. Mom. Ryan broke off. Tears were streaming down his face. His gut was frozen in place with dread. You can't save everyone, my dear boy. You can try. You can try really hard. At the end of the day, war is hell. Paid with mistakes and the blood of the innocent. Everyone is guilty of something. In hell, it's a lot better. Everyone is dead and no one is innocent. Beazel told Orion. Ryan tore his eyes away from the mesmerizing flame. Peter had stepped toward him, and Varima grabbed Orion from behind. Mom is here, Mom said as she stepped closer to her son. Damien snagged the clock before she grabbed you and freed me. I had held crush with Alex. I wanted to help you grab you guys, but Damien insisted. Mom glared at the demon. Grace, I told you. Damien started. Mom held up her finger and both exchanged a dark glance. And for the first time, Damien fell silent against Mom's dark gaze. If looks could kill. Let's go home. You clean this up. Mom gave Damien the look. We'll both do it. Look at us, dear Damien. Doing the Lord's work. Ha, dear old Dez. Beelzebub gave a contemptuous glance at the sky. Damien snapped his fingers, and Orion felt himself, his friends, and his mom get sucked into the shadows of the unknown. The familiarity of Heroicum Academy came into view, and they all landed on the sands of the beach of the island. The night sky stretched around the full half-moon, its silver face gleaming and smirking. Somewhere safe. And that's the end of that chapter.
Right?
Yeah?
You almost made him seem like he was having like an autistic episode when he started realizing like just how crazy it really is.
Yeah, that's the whole point, is he's in shock.
That's what I'm saying. See?
He's getting a form of PTSD in that scene. Yeah, I wanted to kind of reflect on how an actual normal regular person react, like the most normal of the squad react in a situation where you have two monarchs battling with power. And any other, in like a Disney flick, it would be clean, it'd be easy, it'd be like snap the finger, it's all gone. But this is not Disney. This is a darker world where people will die, and instead of just simply saying, okay, the town is on fire, we see people from afar burning and shit, Orion is in dead fucking center of it all and watching it all happen. And he's powerless to stop all of it.
That's kind of why I did this. I was kind of imitating Marvel.
Yeah. The whole snap.
Yeah.
Them trying to snap it back to normal. And this is not Marvel. This is a story in which, yeah, if there's power to change things, you can try, but you can't reverse certain things. And Damien says that when Peter's like, my hand's missing. Like, I got my hand cut off because the fucking bitch took it. And he's like, I can't fix everything. I can't fix your hand. Sorry, bro. And like, so he's going to be walking throughout the rest of the story with a mechanical hand, essentially.
Robo hand. Cool.
Yeah. So what'd you think of that part, Tim?
He's the new Winter Soldier.
That's what I was thinking.
Skywalker,
Whichever way you want to go with it, yeah.
When I originally wrote the story, I was thinking Luke Skywalker, kind of. That part has been in my head since I was a teenager, where he loses his hand.
Uh-huh.
So you're saying it influenced that?
A little bit, yeah.
Well, he's a big Star Wars man. And nothing wrong with
I
that.
feel like all the crazy P's are Star Wars fans.
Yep.
You know?
I grew up Star Wars, Star
Yeah,
Trek.
you guys are hearing in the background.
I actually just started getting into Star Trek.
Yeah.
Before, I started realizing that I didn't really understand what was going on in the show. So I was like,
Which one? Star Trek, Next Gen?
I think it was Next Gen. I think. It was back when Thomas and I were like kids.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand what was going on because my mind couldn't grasp it at the time.
Yeah.
And now
Okay.
I'm watching it, like, even over at Rachel's house, I'm watching, like, her dad watching Star Trek, and I'm like, holy shit, I just now realized I didn't understand a single thing that was going on in this show.
Yeah, that's the thing though, is when we were kids, our grandma used to use Star Trek to put us to sleep. To have us take naps.
Yep.
So half the time, like, we'd wake up and Picard would be doing some sort of narration or something, and a ship would be flying and you'd hear the theme music, but we were completely out of context as to what was going on.
That's all we really remember.
Yeah.
The dialogue, really.
Because the fact that it was used to put us to sleep, so I couldn't watch Star Trek for the longest time without falling asleep. Like, there was a couple times where Amber was trying to watch Star Trek after she watched Xena, and this was after I got out of the hospital last year, And I fucking fell asleep after the episode. She's like, "Why do you keep falling asleep through Star Trek, babe?" And I'm like, "Cognitive conditioning."
Okay.
It was like old childhood programming. She'd always use to put us to sleep. So what the fuck do you think my brain's gonna do?
I would try to go over there, but I feel like half of my shirt would go missing.
Well, you can try coming over here and see if it works.
Just watch what's gonna happen when I go in here. I'm gonna turn into Superman.
Maybe. You got a 50-50.
Oh, I gotta go all the way that way.
No. Just pivot.
Meh.
There you go. Now they can read the text.
Oh
There's always
Oh yeah, I
always
did
mention of
disappear.
Superman.
Holy
Okay.
shit. Your shirt
Because
disappeared.
it's green.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's almost the same shade too.
Yeah, this is our other Crazy P. This is Andrew. You guys have met him on the Snyder Cut episode where we reviewed Snyder Cut. That's the
I
other
don't
Crazy
know if
P.
you
It's
can,
Andrew.
dude.
Oh, I'm Spider-Man when it comes to this.
Day trips.
Oh yeah.
What's up? You've met him before. This is the other Crazy P. This is Andrew.
I got
One of our crew.
So I'm currently eating food.
Yeah. I keep telling him over and over again, I'm like, come over, be part of it, part of the Crazy P's podcast.
And see, this is kind of like how Jonah and I and you were. Like,
Yep.
I'm on my knee. I'm on my knees, by the way. If anybody was wondering, like they're sitting down in computer chair and
Just regular
regular kitchen chair, and I'm like, what's up?
We've had about as much screen time as Nephi usually does.
What's up?
And if I try to come in topless and everybody's like, don't fucking do that, you'll get them banned off Twitch.
So I don't know if Echo Muse has any more of these shirts, but I wanted to, put that out there that, they do have shirts. That was so I do media for these guys, or I used to, for COVID.
Right? COVID screwed everything
Obsessively,
up,
my
man.
ad.
Dude, everything. I haven't been to a show in almost a year and a half, and it's killing me.
Yeah,
I haven't done shit.
he used to, okay, so but to put it in the context, I would go over there to Mom's place, now Jose's place and Andrew's place, and I would do laundry and stuff, and for 12 hours straight, he'd be in the front of the computer, clicking away at different things and doing all these little things on the computer with editing video and editing skits.
A lot of work.
You know you have fun doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So it's like, yeah, so basically he would do a lot of Crazy P's, or not Crazy P's, he would do a lot of Echo Muse shit, and he's been trying to do outvoted stuff, but it's like hard when like the next song that he's trying to do is not completely finished. He was talking about that today at the family get together.
Yeah, it's also, I can't really say much about it because it'll give too much away, but it's very different from what we've released before, and it's honestly one of the most hardest and most incredible experiences that I've had, especially going from being a garage band with this fucker to being where I'm at now, where it's like full on studio time and learning music theory along the way. It's very interesting.
There's a character in my story actually named Ryan that you just heard, one of his chapters, and he's a musician too, so it's pretty interesting. Some of his experiences with the band and some of my experience with the band influence Orion's narrative, of course. They advise him.
Sorry, food mouth.
You good?
Oh, you're good. Just stick a meat in your mouth. Not the first time.
I stuck both meats in my mouth because there's a sword in there too.
Well, we stuck a lot of meat in our mouth earlier with ham.
Oh yeah.
What's funny is I'm going to be putting these episodes on Spotify as well, by the way. I'm going to pay
That's
for
good.
membership for Spotify, and I'm just going to put them on Spotify.
Dude, like I told you before, DistroKid, you might be able to put some of your podcasts on there because, I mean, We haven't really made that much money off of DistroKid, but that's only because we only have one song.
Yeah.
And if you think about all the other bands that are out there, they have multiple songs out there, so
Yeah.
they gain revenue from these people that are streaming. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I mean,
Well, yeah, some of the stuff I listen to. Yeah, well, I throw this on any podcast. I get it on Spotify, on my
exactly, exactly. So
the iPhone freaking podcast.
Yep.
And shit, because you just need an
It's like,
Apple account, and that ain't too fucking hard.
it's 150 different revenues that they just go.
This is where I can make money, asshole.
They're just spitting it at different streaming sites.
So, this is part 2, by the way, guys.
Part
Because
one didn't say
part 1 did actually. Part 1 and
but
part
it
2 will be
showed
on there.
on
I recorded all this, pre-recorded it like I always do. But this is part 2 because the internet decided to die randomly. So that's why this is part 2.
yeah, right at the end of that chapter.
Technology at its finest, ladies and gentlemen.
This dumbass is building the building. We talked about that earlier in the fucking podcast because Russell was working for Xfinity. He's like, no, it's because the dumbasses who own the property
Oh yeah.
won't do the shit to upgrade to have
No.
decent freaking internet now.
No, it's not on their
Dude,
priority list.
My internet at my house is decent, but that's because the fucking thing's just like fucking 50 yards
Yeah.
out the back of my house.
Exactly. It's a hotspot
Yeah.
for a lot of people. Like that's why it's so because it's so congested, honestly, and it's been like that for a long time.
Yeah,
Well, we
especially
were having
since
some
it's
issues, and
monopolization.
Stray got a new router.
Oh, okay.
And it's monopolized in this
Probably
area
a passive
too.
router, like 5G.
I don't know. Well, we already had a 5G one. I think she just got one that had better bandwidth.
Oh, gotcha. That way it's like more radius that it supports. Like if you're outside on the sidewalk and you're like going, I still have Wi-Fi.
Thank
See,
you,
the funny part
one
is, I
viewer
think
who's
you
watching us
did-
again. We appreciate you, one viewer.
But I
One viewer, I love you.
well, what was it when we were playing Among Us earlier? 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Trying to do it on my laptop. This is fucking strange shit, dude. On his Wi-Fi. That's why next month I'm gonna pay the extra $10 more because I'm on Straight Talk
Yeah.
to get the unlimited fucking hotspot.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
just
dude.
gonna connect that straight to my laptop because that's fucking. Because I have no issue fucking streaming on my phone,
Exactly.
Twitch.
Exactly.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna use my phone. I'm gonna pay the more money to have unlimited hotspot and then click, hook phone in, bitch, I got this, and run with it.
So it's actually funny how you say that because most of the IMAX movies that I've been watching, including Batman vs Superman, I watched the new Godzilla vs Kong. If you guys are doing it,
I watched that. I had to, well, because they did the Godzilla in 19.
Yeah.
I had to watch that first because I hadn't watched it. So I'm like, well, let's see if it's on HBO since they got Godzilla vs Kong.
I wonder what review.
They have it, so I'm like, I watched it. I like Godzilla.
We could do that next week.
That's my
Have
favorite.
have next week's episode be
Fucking
Godzilla.
love
Yeah, we could do next week's episode be Godzilla focused. Then I can have like a really sexy picture of Godzilla on there.
And it can be my face.
No. TikTok. Name your private parts after the last movie you watched. Okay, Godzilla. Because it was the last movie I watched.
Yeah, like going into watching these movies, I had to go from watching it on my PlayStation 4 to watching it on my phone, and my phone didn't glitch at all.
My what is it? Whichever freaking stick it is for Amazon,
Yeah.
the Fire Stick,
Yeah, Fire Stick.
not a fucking issue.
Yeah, see?
Of course, I got it on sale. I mean, it's not a high-end smart TV,
Yeah.
so that's why we got the Fire Stick. But I'm sorry, fucking, I think it was 5260 inches for fucking, I think it was $300.
Yeah.
That was like 2 years ago,
Yeah.
right when we moved into the house, like 2.5 years ago. So I'm sorry. Fuck yeah, dude. I saw that. Took a picture. You want me to get it? Yes. All right. That clarifies that one. Put it on the card. Fuck it.
Exactly. and that's why
We had to modify our fireplace because it was just no offense to the dumbasses because the wall things were basically here and here, like a whole freaking. I think it was like 4 or 5 feet.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah, but the bad part was it's because of the way the
was it
fireplace was. It was 6 foot, 4 foot. So we literally went and got wood, cut it all at the right size, and just stained it. Sheree and Teresa did while I was off doing my shit,
Yeah.
and they put it up on the weekend. So that way we had a way to attach because they're drilled into the stud in the wall. The only 2 because the freaking fireplace is right there. There's nothing in the middle.
Gotcha.
So we had to do that so we could put the
Damn.
stand just to hold the 60-inch
Damn.
TV. It was
Oh,
a bitch.
God.
It's like have to modify my my home to watch fucking TV.
Yep, exactly.
But I'm sorry, my TV's badass. I love it because I'll go into Amazon Prime and do the 4G, some of the series they have on Prime Video, and it's like, hang on a sec. There you go.
It's for 4K.
Whatever. Same. You knew what I meant.
Yeah, I
So did they.
Yeah, a lot of people that do tune in. Like, there's 2 watching now, so we got 1 person back. We got our 2 people back. This is
I love you.
No, but we've had what was it? A couple weeks ago, wasn't it Jonah that jumped in?
It's funny
Wasn't
as
it?
hell. What?
Jonah jumped in a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
We
Well,
were here with him when we were
yeah,
talking about.
Jumped in actually like I think 2 weeks ago.
yeah. Well,
Something
we
like
did
that.
we did our own little review of Snyder
Snyder
Cut
Cut.
with Justice League, and it was you, me, and Jonah, or JT. You, me, and JT just sitting there, and I was describing it to them of the fact that it was like all 3 of us, and we got all intimate in each other's space. We were like cuddling and shit.
We were brother fuckers for real.
But yeah, we were reviewing it. What was it? The next Saturday after
Yeah.
that, and he was in our chat.
Yeah.
Oh
JT.
shit.
Yeah, JT jumped in
Yeah,
the
and
chat.
then
We were
JB did.
talking about the mythos of Superman wearing the black suit, the different universes, and I was
Right.
talking about what
JT
I know from
chimed
the
in,
different
JB
why
was
he does
chiming
it in
in.
certain ones and whatnot.
Right. That's sick though. That's sick.
Yeah, it was pretty funny because because at first it was just JB, and then all of a sudden JT started saying shit, and I was like, oh hey, you too.
We got everybody here.
Except for me.
You were probably sleeping.
Yeah.
Cause
You were doing whatever you were doing.
Actually, no. I still okay. I know that this isn't a review for Disney or anything like that, but I actually got into the Mighty Ducks. They have
The new one?
They have a new TV series with the old coach, and he's If you ever watch the Mighty Ducks and kind of want to get back into it, I would actually kind of suggest it. It's not
They
bad.
also have the other one, DuckTales.
Yeah. The DuckTales, the animated series.
Yeah, with the sister. They brought her in straight off instead of bringing her in a couple seasons in like they did with the
Right.
original, which I actually thought was cool.
Yeah.
Well, the beautiful
honestly.
thing about Crazy P is we can talk about anything.
Exactly.
We can talk about just about anything, like Disney, DC, Marvel. We just like to use a focus as being DC, just to have like a center pillar, and then if anybody like has anything else they want to talk about, we just bring it up and talk about it. That's the beauty thing of this podcast. It's crazy.
Well, that's I call it kind of like if you watch Barnacles. I don't know if you do or if you know who he is on YouTube.
I have no idea who that is.
It's
I'm sorry.
a tech
Barnacles Nerdgasm. He did a whole bunch of tech like 3D printing. That was like his big thing he got known
shit.
for. Oh yeah, he
Oh,
used to work
shit.
for Microsoft, working on the Windows program. He got like fired 15 years ago.
Jesus.
Yeah, over some bullshit.
Wow.
And since then, his health's gone down, so he really hasn't, been doing his videos. But he always does his podcast. He does live streaming on Twitch during the week and every Saturday on YouTube.
That's interesting. That's cool.
And he always talks about, because somebody made a comment actually on yesterday's episode, on his Saturday episode, because I didn't catch it yesterday. I was busy doing shit. So I ended up listening to it today while doing DoorDash and goofing off. And he's like, yeah, because somebody brought up, well, y'all don't stay on topic. I was like, well, yeah, so we eventually get there, maybe.
Well, that
But
would-
fuck it. Well, that's why it's like podcasts. We talk about whatever.
Yeah.
That's
Sometimes
what
we have a
podcasts is
subject,
for.
sometimes we don't.
That's what a podcast is for. I mean, if you look at Joe Rogan, like, they bullshit all the time.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, you
there's
can
topics
run
to
with
talk
whatever
about,
the
but-
hell you want to.
They go with the subject, and then wherever that goes with the subject is where the podcast is going, and then they like circle right back to where they were, and like make this web of different things that they were just talking about. You know
Yep,
what I
and
mean?
it's like a 3-hour show.
Exactly. Like,
Me and him's done that a couple times.
Yeah, there's a
Because
couple that are
we'll
episodes
end up
for 3
going
hours.
into just random like mythos about mutants and
right.
a lot of the metas and DC and all the differences and similarities that I know from growing up watching the cartoons in the 90s and getting into the comic books and doing research on all that shit.
Right.
Yep.
And the whole joke, yeah, the COVID vaccine.
Oh, yeah,
gives
we
us
were
all
talking-
superpowers.
Okay, so this is gonna be a bit of a fucking throwback by like 10 episodes, but if let's rewind a little bit to beginning of 2021 because you're here right now and you're gonna have to chime in now. What powers at all would you like to have if, like, say,
You get a mutant power.
Kamala Harris is her secret plan all along was to give everyone the vaccine, and it was her plan all along.
To give
And
mutant powers.
you get the vaccine in your arm, and 2 weeks pass, and you gain powers. What powers would you choose?
If you could choose.
Yeah.
That's a hard one. That's a really hard one.
You want to hear what mine was?
Go
I
for
said it doesn't matter. Because technically, if you look at all of the abilities, like for the mutants and whatnot, technically they're all mental. Because your brain controls your blood, so that's why Logan has a healing ability. It all goes back to mental. That's why Professor X can control everybody. Because even Magneto has partial psychic powers because that helps him control the magnetism of his body to
Right,
control
right.
the magnets around you.
Right.
Everything's magnetic technically, so Magneto can control reality itself.
That's a really, really, really interesting way of thinking about it.
I said that it was a toss-up of flight for me, telekinesis, because you can make yourself fly with telekinesis anyway, or super strength, or even healing. Those are the 4 that I would have gone with. It's a multi-pronged thing.
That almost sounded like you went through like 9 of them.
Yeah, but for me, the easiest one to do, where I get multiple superpowers, but it's just one, is Flash's. Because he moves so fast, he heals in like fucking 12 hours, which should take a fucking week to heal. So fuck it.
See, that's where I was actually going to go with. I was first going to go with either Superman's flight, and then I was like, you know what, actually, now that I think about it, I'd probably go with the Flash's power with jumping into the Speed Force, because at that point, if you think about it, like,
Have you seen the newest episodes on that?
not the newest episodes, but
Okay.
I have, like,
Did you watch last season where they
Yes.
created their own Speed Force?
yes, I did.
Okay.
I did. I've watched up until that point, but also you have to realize I've watched the Flash season 1 through 4 about almost like 7 times.
Well, you gotta catch
he's
up on the
kinda
new
crazy on
season
that.
because when they activate the new Speed Force, something happens to Flash
Like
at the
trying to
beginning
like,
of the season
get you in on the
where
You're not going to.
they can hear him. That's all that matters.
All right.
He's the background voice.
Yeah,
But-
I'm more of a
But the thing that
Yeah.
they thought would keep him from being super evil like Reverse Flash actually ended up hurting him. It ended up making him a complete asshole. Oh no, it was a funny twist. I'm like, that's hilarious. Y'all decided not to do that, so you fucked him and basically made him a superhero villain.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Without him actually being a villain, it's just the way he
So
It reacts with them?
technically the Flash Reverse.
Yeah.
Instead of the Reverse Flash, he would be the Flash Reverse.
Yep.
Essentially, yeah.
Maybe. Is that
But
what
they
we're going
fixed
with?
it. But they fixed it,
Oh,
of
they
course.
fixed it, okay.
But I mean, it was funny to me how he essentially, because the way they try to do it, because Reverse Flash, his reverse,
Just eyeball me while you're drinking Mountain Dew.
he's like, "Are you going to kill me for stealing a drink or two?"
He
But
waggles his eyebrows.
it was the thing of because the Reverse Flash, whatever, the Reverse Flash Zone or whatever it is,
Yeah.
or Flash Force.
My
He
turn.
uses the negative emotions to power it. They tried to take, the reverse Speed Force he created
Right,
himself.
right.
He uses his negative emotions and negative energy.
Yes.
But they tried to take out the emotion part, and what it did was completely make Barry a complete fucking robot. No emotion.
Oh, so he's
Only
like,
brain.
like his morality is just not there anymore.
Yeah.
He's kind of like White
But-
Vision.
I
Yeah.
saw all the possible scenarios, but this did not happen in those scenarios. How the fuck did that not happen? Without actually showing any emotions, blank face Barry. It's like, okay, he's acting fucking weird. It took him like half the episode to notice. It's like, motherfuckers, y'all slow.
Yeah.
Right, though.
But that was the question that I asked him, and it got us in this 45-minute tangent of which we talked about the X-Men, talked about putting together our own X-Men teams, like just in case
How
like
we would
COVID
do
destroyed
it
the
and
world.
shit.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Like if it destroyed the world even further, like we went a step further and had it to where like half the world turned into zombies, and you had to like use your teams to try and keep the world alive, just because the zombies destroyed everything.
This sounds like a super
Yeah, kind of was where we
Uh-huh.
were going.
super apocalypse.
And I'm like, yeah, but see, the thing is, I wouldn't, because we were talking about which superheroes out of the comic books would we grab or want on our team. I'm like, well, I'd want a few, but at the same time, I wouldn't want them. I'd want kind of like the DC Marvel combo. I'd take a couple and combine them.
That's actually not a bad idea for a dude.
What?
For a brand new story.
Yeah.
Like you can take. Okay, hear me out here.
We're gonna
Yeah.
pitch a story.
So, you have a world full of people and a vaccine that could give you superpowers, but alternatively, either kills half the population or
Third.
a third of the population.
It's the way my brain thinks, and we've been talking about blood types and whatnot.
Or, like, it could turn them into zombies, of course. And then you would have the other, like, half of the people that would stay alive. But you gotta think of how many people are gonna use their powers for good and evil. So, if we had a plot where it's a whole bunch of good people with their morality trying to stay alive from these zombies that could, in fact, give them back the virus that they had before, like, that everybody had before,
Yeah.
and turn them into zombies, or get killed by the super villains of the world, and the super villains try to take over the world.
I was
That
talking
kind
like
of makes me
it was like
think
the
of.
boys meet season 2 of Heroes.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that makes me think of Magneto. No, fuck the humans. We need to create our own world. And Professor X is like, no, we need to make them understand that, no offense, this is the next evolution. Why are you fighting it? Because you motherfuckers, your kids or your grandkids are going to have powers like this. Quit fighting it. It's going to happen no matter what you
Yeah,
want,
yeah.
motherfuckers.
Yeah,
But do it nicely.
I was talking about bringing on Doctor Strange, who would help organize the team. Bringing on Batman, who helps fund everything, because I was crossing universes.
Batman or Iron Man.
Yeah, Batman or Iron Man. And then bringing on Magneto, who is a strategist, and then having Spider-Man help out while Hulk tries to figure out the virus.
Genius Hulk.
Yeah, Genius Hulk.
Genius Hulk.
And if you go by the old comic books, that would be Blue Hulk. Not as strong as Green Hulk, but 10 times smarter.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's kind of what we got in Infinity War. They just fucked that
They
up.
just didn't change his color. That was the only difference from the comic books to the movies.
Because you got
Right.
Professor Hulk, but like it wasn't like the way we would probably imagined it to be, but it was still a good movie.
Well, from what I remember from growing up and basically living, because the way I learned a lot of my comic book mythos and whatnot is because the guy next door to my nanny, when I was a little kid, like fucking Connor's age and younger, well, up until I was like 9, I'd shoot the shit with him, and we'd talk about, because he collected Marvel cards. So he had cards of regular Hulk, or regular Black Hulk, a Gray Hulk, the original, Green Hulk, which is stronger, Blue Hulk, which is smarter and like 3/4 the strength of Green Hulk. And then you got Red Hulk, Abomination, and I think there's like 2 or 3 others, and She-Hulk.
Yeah.
And you got a couple different iterations of She-Hulk also.
Speaking of, I think they might actually be putting She-Hulk into Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah,
they're supposed to be doing it sometime this year.
Yeah,
or next
it's supposed to be like part of the whole Phase 4 of Marvel Cinematic Universe, in which they're starting it out with WandaVision, carrying it through with the Winter Soldier thing, and then bringing in the Doctor Strange 2, as well as Spider-Man 3, and then...
the new Spider-Man 3.
And She-Hulk's part of that equation.
Yep. And since the fact that, you've got the
But see,
Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's what I was thinking. Because we were talking about it for WandaVision. We were like trying to figure out what they were doing. I'm like, yeah, well, what if her making the pocket universe, she doesn't know how to control her powers, so she ends up accidentally expanding it in such a way that she covers the whole world, and that's how the X-Men become part of the reality, because she accidentally opens it up to the next reality over and combines them.
Exactly. And that's why Electrode from The Amazing Spider-Man and Dr. Octavius from Sam Raimi is in Spider-Man 3.
Well, that's why I was thinking the other Petro came in on WandaVision.
Yeah.
Because she'd accidentally opened a wormhole or breach between realities.
Or Pietro, if you believe that it was just a fake out.
No, see, I call bullshit on that. No. The other witch tried to make it seem like that, but what they don't really know is he actually is Pietro now because of what she did. Because, what was it, the black chick went in and then came out, and no, you actually have powers, you dumb bitch.
Yeah, Monica.
Mm-hmm. Because it was a pocket universe, but it was sucking energy and alternate universe where everybody, the X-Men and the mutants are real, so it's just the next step.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's going to be part of the multiverse.
Yep, and that's kind of why they put him in there, is because he's from Fox as Quicksilver.
Yeah. Yep. So that way it all merges the whole thing.
Yep.
And that whole, like, Kick-Ass reference in WandaVision.
Oh my god.
Oh, fuck yeah. That was awesome.
It's like...
Thomas and I used to watch Kick-Ass so much.
Yeah.
I've watched the movies a couple times.
Well, we watched...
I like the actor.
There was a
He's
summer
good actor.
where I watched Kick-Ass, the movie, the very first one. I watched it every day. And there was one time where I was watching on my laptop, and Andrew's like, oh, you're watching Kick-Ass, aren't you? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, wait, why is he just jacking off nonstop in this movie? And he's like, just keep going. Just get through that part. And I'm like, and that was back when I was, a different me. And that would have turned me off. But, like, I was sitting there watching it, and he's all like, just keep watching it. So I got halfway through it, and I was fucking sucked in. And then, like, every day, I was watching that movie at some point at the day. And there was a point where him and I would just sit there and watch it every day. It was like our little ritual.
Geeking out.
Yes. Geeking out. Then I later on bought the comic books.
That's Clerks Cube.
Yeah. We were watching Clerks 2. We were watching Kick-Ass. And we were watching, like, there was, like, a few different movies we'd watch every fucking day.
But see, the thing, I have an issue with that is I can watch a movie, like, 2, maybe 3 times. But after that, after I've analyzed it, after watching it for the fun, just to see the story, and the second time to actually dig into it.
Yep.
Once I get to like the 3rd, 4th time, I pass out.
Oh shit.
I've watched it so much, my brain's like, dude, we've over analyzed this. No, take a nap, asshole.
That's it. I'm done.
I actually do want to watch the Snyder Cut again soon. And I want to watch Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Birds of Prey, and then Snyder Cut. Yeah, I want to watch it kind of like in order. Though I'm not sure if I want to watch Suicide Squad. I don't know if I want to touch that.
The new one or the original?
The original one.
Because they're supposed to be coming out
The
with
David
another
Ayer
one.
cut. Or the David Ayer movie. Which they asked him about it. They're like, do you have a David Ayer director's cut? And he's like, no. So what you see is on screen is what you see on screen. And it's like, okay, whatever. Because they were trying to get there's this movement of people that think that because Zack Snyder has a cut, that everyone has their own cut
or
of the
the
movies.
Blu-rays. on a lot of movies because they
Yeah.
did that a few years back, where I'd go and be like, okay, do you want the one in the movie theater? Or do you want the actual director's cut? Or for $10 more, you get them both.
Yeah.
I'll pay the $10 more to get both. So that way, depending on my mood, I'll watch one.
Sorry, my legs got a little tired.
No, you're
You
good. But yeah, like there's like this weird little movement that because they were
Not
able
really
to do
anywhere to
this,
sit, I know.
sort of Snyder cut. I'm gonna scoot forward a little bit so you can get in here.
That way my
You can weasel around.
Yeah.
that way my shirt could see through.
You can see the old guy going, "What the fuck? Superman's gonna punch me in the face?"
I'll move forward a little bit more so you can just squat.
I think the squatting's what messed with his legs.
That was.
Let him stand there.
Yeah, I'll just
They'll just see us.
Have my head.
He'll be like the neighbor from that one show
Wilson?
No.
You're reverse
from
Wilson
Home
Could be-
Improvement. From Home
Yeah,
Improvement, where
yeah,
you never
yeah.
saw his face. you
Wilson
never
Wilson.
saw his face. It cut off half his face.
They showed his face on the last episode.
But he was like standing behind the fence.
No. He actually walked out on the last episode during the credits, or
Mhm.
right before, while they were doing the credits. They brought out everybody, including him. Everybody got to see his full face
Yeah.
for the first time on TV. Oh fuck yeah!
Oh shit.
Have you seen Last Man Standing?
Yes.
The black guy with the actress who played his wife in Home Improvement. He's supposedly has Wilson's house because in one of the episodes he's standing there and all you see is nose up. And he says, "How you doing, neighbor?" they make the reference, and then I think it was 4 episodes back, either this season that we're on, or it was like at the end of the last season.
Yeah.
They had him playing Tim Allen, who tried to supercharge something in his house. It's like, you look just like me. Yeah, I did this, and then it blew up. And he's like, yeah, that's why they took away my TV show.
That's savage.
That is pretty savage. Yeah, see, you would not you don't have an answer to that question about powers, do you?
I think I gave him a pretty good one. Oh, I'll have them all, just nobody will know.
Like Peter Petrelli off of Heroes, where he just like absorbs people's powers, and he has like 30 of them.
Yeah, but see, I wouldn't
That's
absorb
bad.
them. I would figure out how to use the power I got, because everything's mental, to figure out how to unlock all of them.
Kind of Sylar from Heroes,
Uh-huh.
where like he had to like go into the person's brain and learn the power.
But see, I'll
that
figure out
caused
how
him
to do it
kill him.
without killing everybody.
Yeah, that's what they were trying to teach him. Nathan,
Yeah.
their dad had revealed that Sylar is like their half brother, and so because he had an affair with the mom.
Yep.
And so he taught him how
He
to
tried
use
to
the
turn
power
him
without even killing
To
the person.
good, yeah.
Claire's like, "You're gonna eat my brain now?" And it's like, Claire, that's disgusting.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Throwback to Heroes.
But I mean, we're talking about superheroes and whatnot, so it all intertwines. Wait, where does Heroes fit into this? This is the X-Men that nobody talks about, that Xavier didn't get to a school, that are just normal motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's funny because I was trying to get my friends into Heroes for the longest time in California, and they were like, "Oh, you mean the X-Men ripoff?" And it's like, no, this
Actually,
is Heroes.
No, the X-Men ripoff was a TV show that came out in the mid-late 90s, and
Yeah,
it only did, like, I think it was, like, 1 season or, like, half a season.
yeah,
And because everybody got pissed because it was a clear ripoff, them trying to rip off X-Men,
yeah.
all the actors either got out or just the studio, because all the fans were like, "You fucking assholes!" Just like, okay, we tried.
Which is really funny because you think about Heroes, and then you look at The Boys,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and yeah, people are liking The Boys. It's like, what was wrong with Heroes then?
nothing. I just think they hit
Part of it,
point
I
the
think,
story.
was that Tim Kring couldn't get like 17 billion people to watch the show,
Yeah.
and NBC is
They
like
lost
ultra.
funding.
And NBC is like ultra Nazi when it comes to, their viewer count, and so they couldn't. They did because like Amazon
So
is
is
able to just stream the show, and so they're able to
ABC,
fund it and
because
everything.
they're owned by Disney.
Yeah.
They're just like, huh. What
But
if they
that's
made
like
more money
Fox.
by making it rated R?
No, well, I mean, well,
Right.
what was it, Terra Nova? Fox?
I think so.
They did one season and did a freaking. The last episode was supposed to be them showing that people from basically selling days found a portal to get to where they were, prehistoric Earth, and they cut it off there. That's like The Rock, the prison. They had a series about how they were doing experiments on all of the prisoners that were in The Rock, and how they're not actually dead. They've been in like some sort of stasis, and now they're coming back
Oh damn.
with superpowers and shit. And how the lead detective found out something. Her dad had something to do with it because he worked on The Rock, or her grandfather.
That's crazy.
And they killed it after season 1. I'm like, motherfuckers, that was a good season. What the fuck's wrong with you, Fox?
Everything.
Right?
The fact that they canceled Lie to Me and they canceled
I
like,
was
everything
about
else.
to go there.
Yeah.
About to go there too.
Canceled Gotham, canceled everything. They canceled
Right.
everything they don't have extreme executive control over. But
And
they
the funny
can't
part
do
is they-
everything on, or they can't like
Still make
get all
money
their
on it.
grimy
Even if
hands
you
all
gotta
over it.
pay the asshole who made it, you're still getting like 25%.
Netflix
I'm
took on
sorry,
Lucifer.
25% out of fucking 10 million is still a good chunk of change. Shut up, bitch.
Yeah.
I'll take that chunk of change. You don't want it? No, come here. I'll run the series.
Fox is the
I don't give a
same.
shit.
Fox is the same network that also canceled Lucifer because they didn't make all the money they wanted from it,
And
so
that was bullshit.
and so
Even the
Netflix picked
actors
it up.
said that was complete bullshit.
Yeah, no, Tom Ellis was very vocal about that.
Oh yeah, he
And
was
because
pissed
Dark,
as fuck. I remember that.
because Dark Horse, which is part of DC, owned the rights to it. They decided to axe it, and so Netflix was like, "We'll pick it up," and so they picked it up
Right.
and continued it for a
And
few
actually
seasons.
did the last season that they were supposed to do. 'Cause
Yeah.
it was supposed to be minimum of 3 seasons.
Yep.
And they'd already had the script written out, but because they decided to cancel it, they threw for the last episode of season 2 was supposed to be the last episode of season 3.
Yeah.
So Netflix had to fix that.
Yep. So they did it again, and then what they did was they made season 4 and then 5, and then now 5 part A has already been released. They're releasing part B, and they've already finished season 6.
Yeah, I haven't watched Lucifer after season 4. I haven't hopped back into it here recently.
If I said I haven't watched Lucifer at all.
No,
No,
it's just a show. Like all these TV shows are
watch
just
season
shows.
1. You'll like the way they show Lucifer, because it's basically, I didn't get a fucking choice, asshole. I just got told that was my job. I'm supposed to be the judge of everybody who's fucked up.
He's a different Lucifer than on Supernatural.
Oh boy.
He's more like the rebellious son who got told by his dad that
This
whether
is
he
your
chooses
job,
to
whether
accept
you like it or
this
not.
is your job. And so he basically was given
Basically, he was born into it.
yes.
Yeah, you
And
get
so-
hell whether you want it or not.
Yeah. And you
That sucks.
and you are going to
and-
get the short
and
end
the
of the stick and
first
everyone will
season,
hate you because we'll have
They
propaganda
even talk
against
about the devil made me do it. People saying that sort of shit. And he's like, don't blame me. You motherfuckers are the killers.
you. And he's like, you guys are the ones who did it. You guys made the choice. You guys didn't have to do it. And
Wow.
like
Don't blame me, asshole.
and like there's several episodes where
he goes
where
deep
Chloe
into that shit.
Chloe, who is very not religious, but
And doesn't
she-
believe in Satan
yeah,
or God.
but she doesn't really believe that it even exists at all, and yet she's his partner, and she's the detective, she's a cop, and she basically does a lot of investigative reporting, and a lot of times he'll run into situations that are very spiritual or very reminiscent of his background, and he'll like just go on this data fest in which he'll quote things or say, well, actually, there's that chapter that Father wrote about me, and he'll like go on about it and just go off and
He'll
his
go
rants.
into real
And-
deep.
Yeah, deep cuts, and Decker
Oh,
will
yeah.
just be like, "Is this the part where you're delusional again and thinking that you're Satan Morningstar and his name is Lucifer Morningstar?"
Wow.
He actually uses his real name in
And-
the series.
and-
I love it.
And there are several times where like someone like there was a copycat of Lucifer, and he was sitting there killing people and then putting like horns in their head to like represent Satan and everything, and Lucifer walks up and goes, "That's offensive."
Yeah. Oh, I like the one.
You're like,
the guy got
Is this my
the.
father's work again against me?
I think that, what was it, like the belt buckle or something? And
Yeah.
he was the good God, not the real God, not the dad. Just
Yeah.
the, I love you, not the shut up, do your fucking job, bitch. Sort of
Yeah, he was
dad
he was
version.
delusional.
and-
I think he was good. He was God. Yeah.
And I saw that and I'm like, No, that sounds like truth of if a human got God's powers. Yes, love each other. All be righteous. No, God's like, gave you the fucking rule book. Do it.
And then a lot of times,
you?
what he'll do is he has the power of extreme influence. So you know how like they always talk about how the devil has the devil's tongue, and he's like a snake or whatever. So he knows his power truly is to root out your passions and root out what you want truly in this life. So he'll walk up to someone and be investigating them and ask them questions, and Detective Decker will be like, you know, where was the sin of the crime, this sort of thing, who is that, who talked to who, and then Lucifer will just walk up to the guy, what is it you truly desire? And then suddenly he'll just stare at the guy like this and just kind of tilt his head, and the guy will just be like, I just wanted my paycheck. And then he'll like spit out like random details that are completely irrelevant, but yet
it'll solve the case.
It'll solve the case, or it'll give them to the next step that they don't even know is existing, because he rooted out their desires, their motivation.
No, the part I liked, and you'll have to watch the whole thing for this, is when he didn't realize that he didn't give her his power by banging her.
Yep.
He's just, because she is his soulmate.
Yep.
It's just, she's
walks up
able
to
to do that to him.
What is it you truly desire? Like, she just says it, like, out of nowhere, and the guy
as a joke.
This guy just starts telling his soul, and Lucifer's like,
you jacked my power, bitch.
Did you just steal my mojo? Did you steal my mojo?
It was hilarious episode.
And I'm just like watching this, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so funny. Dexter's going around with his mojo.
The funny part was, it wasn't even she stole his mojo. It was he accidentally let go of it.
Yes.
And she just picked it up.
And she just picked it up. It was like a switch. She just picks up the switch and turns it on. And he's he's just like,
and that's when
where did my mojo go?
Realize that she's his soulmate, because she didn't even try to do it. She just did it.
And she can
because he let himself so relax around her to actually get intimate with her physically and emotionally.
And she does not get affected by him.
The way everybody
else does, but he gets affected by her, and it's because he subconsciously allows himself to be vulnerable to her.
Damn. Around her, he's able to be shot.
Yeah.
When she's within a certain perimeter.
So they use that in the show, because there's certain moments where he'll get shot by someone, or he'll be bleeding nearly to death, and then she has to run away or go out of the scene, and then eventually he's better.
As soon as she's so far away from him, he's instantly healed.
Yes.
That's why it's like, no, I'm Satan, and then he shoots himself.
And there were a couple times.
No, he had her shoot him. That's right.
Yes. It's like,
yeah, and then when he showed his devil's face.
Yeah, it's like, did you see his face? It's like, see his face? What face? He's got a face. He's got a face. And
well, that's why I like when she actually sees his face and he thinks it's a bad thing. She's like, no, I've accepted you for you. I'm just processing.
Yeah, because she's like almost
she doesn't do like everybody else does,
just like,
and like completely crumble because, oh my god, Satan drill, that means God drill. I'm a horrible motherfucker.
She spends more time just trying to figure out her place.
What the fuck does this mean for me?
Yes.
Right. And I love that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no,
the way it's written.
I absolutely love the Lucifer show. I went from not liking it to like getting so ensnared by it that I was just like, oh my god, I need to watch the next episode. And Tom Welling, by the way, Clark Kent, he plays Cain from Cain and Abel.
Really?
Yes,
in
he plays Cain
in
Lucifer, and he's so different from Clark Kent.
Oh, he does it so well.
So different. There was a part where Lucifer and him are going at it. They're fighting each other, but they can't hurt each other, so they're constantly duking it out, bleeding and whatever, and like
instantly healing.
And so like he takes and he grabs the thing, and he's like, so Lucifer, and he's just like looks at him and goes, so you finally show up, Cain, after all these years, and he's just like, how many has it been? 100? 200? 3,000? And like, he's like, you killed your brother. And it's like, and then Cain's just like going, I just want to figure out where you stand in this, Lucifer. And he like takes his knife and goes, shake, and stabs him right in the chest. And Cain just falls to the ground and like, he's like dead. And then he gets up and he pulls and he's like, could have just stabbed off to the.
People like it. Oh, it is a great series.
Yeah, sorry guys, we're having to mess with the camera again.
That face though.
Yeah, face. It's like.
Your expression when it froze was priceless.
Yeah. But like, yeah, like no, this show, like season 3 is honestly one of the best seasons also, because
Well, I liked it because
there's that love
Kane
triangle
was
between
trying
Kane,
to have to
Decker,
become
and him.
back to human.
So three.
Kane was trying to figure out how to become
Well, it was
mortal
funny.
again, so he could actually die.
Lucifer was like, I'm so uncomfortable
And
with this.
that's
I normally love threesomes.
But the funnier part was that at the end of season 3, Lucifer, when he comes back to, because in season 3, like I think it was like halfway through the season, he lost his ability to do his devil face.
Yes.
Oh.
And at the end, when Kane basically does whatever he needs to turn himself back into mortal, somebody who can be killed,
Right.
Lucifer kills him and gets his devil face back, and that's when the detective sees him in the full devil, not just the face, the fucking full,
Get
Full
up.
frontal.
Yeah.
yeah,
full-
full everything, the full body devil with the red skin and shit. Oh,
Damn.
priceless.
Yeah, Lucifer, the comic, it was originally based on a comic, and the comic is written by the same guy who did Stardust,
Yep.
and has done a lot of other books. I'm trying to remember the name of the guy. Hold on a second. I'm gonna look this up. He does, you know, the master class that is occasionally on Facebook, or maybe you don't see it.
I might not be part of the group.
No, it's not even the group. Masterclass. Trying to find the name.
Well, just look up for the other thing you were looking for.
Stardust.
Every time this vape, this part right here.
Yeah.
That part right there.
Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman is one of the people that created Lucifer, the cat comic book.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
It's- you would get into the series, trust
He's
me.
also the same guy who did
Series is
Hitchhiker's Guide to
awesome.
the Galaxy.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that wasn't funny. That caught him right there.
Yeah, he knows what I'm talking about there because
Yep.
we watched that as a kid.
Yep.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
watched
Gaiman
that.
is-
It's an interesting movie.
Sandman, Hitchhiker's Guide, Stardust. There's a lot of different stories
Sandman's
that
a
we
good
loved from childhood that he did. Basically, imagine if it was Tim Burton, only a little bit more weirder and less gothic.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically, it's less gothic, more. Well, what if this was real life? And this Satan's not really the bad guy that everybody makes him out to be. He's just got the job,
Yep.
Right.
and that's what caught me on. And I'm like, well, no, that actually sounds like the asshole. So
Lucifer.
you fuckers blame me for everything, even though I'm not the one who started it. I just gave one suggestion to ease, so that way you could all live out your
You know
lives.
what this kind of reminds me of?
What?
Aquaman.
Yeah, Aquaman.
Aquaman. Yeah, he's like he's the rightful king to the throne, but yet he doesn't want it.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, he's more of a land-based person that
Mhm.
likes to drink alcohol.
Yeah.
You know, and swim.
Yep.
like,
He's
near-
the.
I mean, it's
he's
just the
average
fun
Joe.
ability he has.
Average
Being
Joe
able to
surfer
breathe
guy.
underwater, yeah.
Right, and he doesn't want he doesn't want any part of that job title.
Yeah, he even tells
Well, we
Superman,
were even
don't
talking
count on
about
man.
that with
Yeah.
the Snyder Cut. We were talking about how his future wife has the abilities, or he brought it up, and then I'm like, well, of course she has the abilities, because she's always lived in Atlantis. She was auto-taught in the Atlantean school how to
Right.
use the magic,
Right.
because he grew up on basically the upper world on land.
Right.
He didn't get taught how to do that, so all his shit is just straight nature.
Right.
He just instinct learned it. Hers is taught magic.
Right.
Yep.
So I always thought that part was funny.
That's
That's
actually
why I like they showed in
in
the
the
movie
show.
that she creates the bubble
Right.
to talk
Mm-hmm.
instead of just doing the sounds, and I'm like, yes, no, I like that. And that goes into some of the mythos they talk about in the comic books with she's the magician where he's just the warrior because that's what he knows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Lucifer is. It's funny. We went from a Superman review to being a Lucifer review.
You know, and it's kind of funny that you actually point that out because do you
Well,
guys
we do that a lot.
Yeah,
you
we
guys
do.
remember in well both the Snyder Cut and the regular version, Aquaman could have created an air bubble for the Justice League
That is true.
if he knew how to do it.
Yeah.
Like that actually makes sense because
If-
all he
if
did was try to stop it with his trident.
Yep.
Yeah, but if he knew how, if he'd been taught how, he'd be able to. Yeah, it'd have been-
exactly.
Uh-huh.
Exactly.
Get them
Like,
out
that
of
actually
there.
makes sense now. Now that you actually mentioned that.
They could have just been sitting in that little area that was flooded with water and just been in air bubbles.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd have made it a more interesting scene. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to watch Batman float around in an air bubble.
Or also having an air bubble around the bat thing that Cyborg had, because I mean, if that would have been flooded, they would have been fucked.
Yeah, that is true. It's like fucking Flash is like doing his little surfer dance. He's like air bubble, and then fucking just to bust it, and then Aquaman's like, "Hey, bro, stop busting it."
He would be running on the surface because he can run on water.
Yeah.
He can
Oh,
run
it's
so
just
fast that he
speed,
can run on
yeah.
it. Then he would trip. He would trip, and then that's when he would burst it.
Yep.
Yeah, because he'd trip and fall into the bubble and pop it.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I completely see that. That would be hilarious. Because Aquaman doesn't fully have control over it yet. He's just learning.
Exactly.
That would be hilarious. Well, that's like, he was talking about Twilight. This was like, what, 4 episodes back?
I was
5?
remaking Twilight. I was
No,
taking
we were
it-
discussing on how we
Okay.
would improve it
Oh, improved Twilight.
Yeah.
for us.
I was like pitching a
And-
different version of Twilight in which it was a bit more bloodthirsty, a bit more horror oriented.
Okay, first of all,
And it
we need
was-
to take out that shininess.
Oh, no, we went over that straight
Okay,
off.
I just want to put that out there.
No, that was like the first thing we altered.
With the shiny vampire.
Yeah.
No. I actually made a comment. No. The shiny ones. They're the vegans, the fags. Kind of like how he's gay because he does this.
So their gaydar is a little bit more prominent.
Yes, but that's that sort of thing. But it's not really a gator. It's the vegetarian. But it's the same thing though. You look like a fag, but it's because you're a vegetarian. Just like how you have most of the vegetarians are, I don't eat meat.
I'm still surprised we're not canceled.
They can try, they will fail. I have workarounds on everything, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, no.
Plus, I mean, with as late as it is.
We were basically taking, I was pitching the idea of killing off Carlisle, the head vampire, the dad, at the end of the movie, and forcing them out of their little bubble and forcing them into the vampire world more, so that storyline could be jump started even more. And there was some other stuff we were talking about, but that was one of the main ideas. Yeah, no.
No.
We're not going to do a copy off of Underworld here. We're just, tweaking some things to make Twilight a bit more interesting.
Right.
Like, well, part of it I was talking about is, but because of how long Carlisle hung out with the original vampires, he learned to do what they do. Because they talk about it in the movie and a little bit in the books about how they can eat human food or drink blood. Because they're the originals. Just like the kid.
Yeah.
And the other one she found that's just like their kid. But the part that we can do that, but Carlisle, because he's the medical guy, he figures out how to make it so the vegan vampires can get that ability. Which makes them more powerful than the regular vampires, because fuck you, we don't have to eat blood and we're still badass and can kick your ass, because we're as powerful as the originals, motherfuckers. Bring it.
I like that idea.
Yeah, and we take.
I mean, being a scientist and a medical, I think there'd be a way to figure that out.
Yeah, I was telling him that I'm taking some of these ideas and putting them in the book series.
He's gonna take him and run with
You
it.
should.
I said, go for it.
Shit.
Right?
That shit.
And I'll be like,
But we've done that on here. We've shit shot ideas back and forth for his book, or we're just talking about whatever. He's like, ooh, that'd be a good idea. I want to remember that one.
and it's recorded, so I can just listen to it.
What does J.J. Jameson say?
You just fucked up the books, but screw it, you made a better story. I'm sorry, I will take all credit on that shit. It's like I told him, just at the end of the book, be like, helped by, throw my name in there.
Exactly. Special thanks section.
Yep.
Acknowledgement section.
Yep.
We've had the 2 people that have been staying with us this entire time. We appreciate you guys.
For at least the last hour.
I love you.
I was actually wondering if it was Rachel, but then she passed out.
We bored her in live, and her phone's just watching us by itself.
I was
That would
actually
be
looking
hilarious.
over there to see if it really was. I can't tell.
Amber, is that you? Are you watching us? Oh.
No,
Okay, so it's two people. One person might be Johnny Boy, but I don't know.
It's random people.
Yeah, if you're watching us, comment in the comment section. Let us know.
Just say hi, so that way we know who you are.
Yeah, just watch. They fell asleep and they're just their phone's still just playing.
Or because we talk about your YouTube channel on the last few episodes and my YouTube channel,
Yeah,
and because my Twitch died, they know where to go to your YouTube channel if something happens on my end.
that is true. That is true. So that might be. If you guys are from Twitch, let me know. Put us in the comment section, and I'll go first. Hi.
Well, I'll pull an Obi-Wan. Hello.
Hello there. Well, watch this.
Sorry. Hello there.
It's like this.
Howdy.
Hello there. I know it means.
Hey everyone.
Spider-Man.
Thank you.
I actually haven't watched any of the newer Spider-Mans. I'm gonna have to watch.
Homecoming and Far From Home.
I haven't watched. If they're on HBO Max, I'm just gonna have to drop and watch a whole bunch of shit in the next couple weeks.
They have them on Disney Plus.
Is
Homecoming? Yeah, Homecoming and Far From Home are on
Yep.
Disney Plus. They're
Oh, I
MCU
never
movies.
remember which one it is because Disney Plus, Sheree and Teresa pay for because, well, actually, I should say, Teresa's mom and dad pay for it, and Sheree's mom and her husband pay for it because they send us money to pay for the subscription because we have all the subscriptions and everybody else watches. No, they're paying us, and we're just like, okay, cool.
That's how Thomas is with everybody. And
Yep.
With me. I've got his IMAX account and I've got his Disney Plus account, so I can like literally watch everything that he's watching. That way, like when his
If we
happens-
want to, we can just shoot the shit about it all. Yeah.
exactly. I could just sit there and like come over and be like, oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yep.
Last Man Standing. Watch that one too, because it's the Tim Allen humor.
Oh yeah,
But
I've
I
seen
mean,
a few episodes of that. I've seen a few.
I love his humor. Some of the shit Russell says he tries to be Tim Allen, like, you didn't do it right. He's like, what? No, you should say it this way. And then Mom makes a joke. Yeah, see, we should have put his middle name as Allen, just like Tim Allen on TV, because Allen's his middle name. Then I'd have been Tim Allen second. Whatever. I'd have ran with it somehow and got myself on TV or comedy shows. Back in the freaking 20 years ago, I'd have done that and just ran with it.
Right though, right?
Use my name as a fucking tag and run with that bitch. Oh,
Yeah.
I'd have done it.
Well, shit, guys. It's almost 12:30.
Oh, yeah. Hi.
We should probably end. We're getting a little late. Because I need to get up in the morning.
Okay.
Because I gotta wake up kids.
I'm Walmart, bitch.
They have my soul. All right, so this has been. If we're wrapping up, this is good. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in again, since we have the two people from before. After the internet cut out. I read out chapter 5 from Orion's point of view from the book. We've talked about Superman and Lois. We've talked about vampires. Talked about superpowers. Talked about Twilight. Talked about that funny moment in that movie where Aquaman doesn't have the trident or the bubble thing. Talked about a lot of stuff. A lot of free fun, a lot of content for you guys. Like and
That's
subscribe.
why I said craziness prevails.
Yeah. Like and subscribe if you guys like what you see. I'm TPAW,
I'm Carnage.
And I'm Andrew from Outvoted.
and that's been Crazy Peace. Thank you for tuning in and for watching.
We'll
And-
see y'all next Saturday.
Yep, same bat time, same bat channel. TPAW's Playground.